A bus left town X at 8 a.m. and traveled towards town Y at an average speed of 100 km per hour. At the same time, a van left town Y towards town X at an average speed of 120 km per hour. Given that the two towns are 825 km apart, determine how long it took before the two vehicles met, the time they met, and how far from town X that the two vehicles met. So to do this question, we first of all need to calculate what we call the relative speed. We realize that in 1 hour, the bus covers 100 kilometers, that is its speed, while in 1 hour, the van covers 20 kilometers, and that is its speed. So if we add the two speeds, we shall get the relative speed. So relative speed is equal to the speed of the bus plus the speed of the van. And that is, speed of the bus is 100 kilometers per hour plus the speed of the van is 120 kilometers per hour. And that gives us 220 kilometers per hour. That is the relative speed. Sometimes we also call it the approaching speed. Now, the first question wants us to determine how long it took before the two vehicles met. For you to get how long it took before the two vehicles met, you take the distance between the towns, which is 825 kilometers, divided by the relative speed. That will give you how long it took before the two vehicles met. So the time they took for them to meet is given by the distance between the towns divided by relative speed. The distance between the two towns is 825 divided by the relative speed, which you have just calculated here, which is 220. If you do that, you get 3 3/4 hours. If we decide to change this to hours and minutes, this is 3 hours and 45 minutes. So it took 3 hours and 45 minutes before they meet. The time they met, this one needs you to get the exact time. We know they started their journeys at 8 a.m. and they are taking 3 hours and 45 minutes to meet. So we add the two to get the time they meet. So the time they meet is given by 8 a.m., the time they started their journey, plus how long they took to meet, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes. And that gives you 11:45 a.m. The third question wants you to get how far from town X are the two vehicles met. Because we are interested in getting how far from town X that the two vehicles met, we shall consider the speed of the vehicle which is moving from town X, which is the bus, and it's coming towards town Y at this speed 100 kilometers per hour. So that's what we shall use in calculating. Therefore, we shall say how far from X they met will be given by the speed of this vehicle which is coming from X, which is the bus that is traveling at 100 kilometers per hour, times how long it took before they met. So we shall take 100 kilometers per hour. That's the speed of the vehicle coming from town X, times how long it took before they meet, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes, or 3 hours, 3 3/4 hours. Let's use this one because it's already in terms of hours only. So it will be 100 times 3 3/4. For us to multiply this, that is the same as 100 times 15/4. How did I get 15/4? I changed this to an improper fraction form. This times this gives us 12, plus 3 gives us 15. So that's times 15/4. And that's when you multiply this and this, you get 1500/4, which when you simplify, you get it being 375 kilometers from town X. Thank you.